Hey guys, welcome back to Nightmare Talks
Sup?
once again. I'm Aaron.
I'm Chase.
And man, it's been a while, guys. We apologize for the absence, but we are back to try to get a couple episodes to you guys.
Yes.
For those of you guys that may have forgotten, we covered in a couple episodes ago that Chase was moving back to Arkansas, so he's been back in Arkansas for over a year now, yeah?
Dude, it's been
over
a year and a few months now. It's crazy it's been
Yeah.
that long already.
Yeah, so unfortunately that put a kink in our channel. It's really hard to continue to do this when we're not together, when we can't sit next to each other. We are looking into trying to figure out ways to maybe Skype and stuff like that, but at the same time we're trying to be true to what the channel was.
Yep.
We started out together.
Yeah.
You know, I've tried to do things sitting here by myself and it's just not the same.
It doesn't bounce. It doesn't. It's not the same when you can't bounce it off somebody. It's just it's weird.
Yeah. So be patient with us, guys. They did come into town kind of last minute by surprise for a special occasion we got going on this weekend.
Yep.
And we were like, screw it, dude. Let's do a shoot.
Have to.
So this episode is going to be a little unorganized in the sense that we didn't have a whole lot of time to research anything. We don't really have a whole lot of game plan. So we're just gonna call this our reunion.
Yes.
Episode.
Just pretty much a touch and base. Like, hey, did you hear about this?
Yeah. And
That's pretty much it.
so we're just gonna freestyle it, see how it goes. We do
dope.
have some stuff to talk about.
Yes.
A lot's happened in
Dude,
last year.
It has been pretty crazy.
So I think the thing that we were kind of talking about before we started recording was there's been a lot of UFO/alien incidents that have happened here in the Las Vegas area just recently.
Yep.
And you were talking about how you just were
Dude, so there was one, and it kind of ties in. Aaron will touch base on his later, and it's very similar, and actually the account is kind of the same in the same sense. But so there was this old lady. I think it was 2 days ago. Not that that's relevant to you guys, but there was this old lady that had, I guess, a loud bang or something in her backyard or close to her house somewhere. And she had walked outside and said that there was a bright light. It was the middle of the night, bright light, and that there was this tall, 8-foot, I'm gonna say alien because she couldn't identify what it was. It's 8 feet tall and it had a big head, and that's all she could really see because I guess there was light near it, so she could just make out that it was really tall, had a big head. Cool. To me, the part that stands out and is weird is it didn't seem to be retreating. It didn't seem to be really like making a point to hide or get out of sight. It kind of just stood there and looked back, and then casually kind of walked away and just left.
Yeah.
It didn't have a sense of urgency. It didn't have that panic like, oh God, oh no. More just cool. You see me, here I am.
Not even trying to blend in.
No, like nothing. Nothing.
And I think that's interesting because a lot of like the older, like if you call them grays or just humanoids or aliens, whatever you want to call them, a lot of the older stuff, in years past, they tend to try to blend into their environment. They're just not walking around out in the open. And that kind of reminds me of the story that I was told a couple weeks ago that very, very similar So if I remember correctly, all of these incidents are kind of happening in the same part of town. So Las Vegas, a lot of people don't understand. Las Vegas is a big city.
Yeah.
And there are, there's Henderson, there's surrounding communities around Las Vegas. A lot of people have this impression that Las Vegas is just the Strip. And that's it. And there's nothing beyond the Strip. That everybody that lives in Las Vegas lives in a hotel on the Strip. And Vegas is huge. There's over 1 million people here, and growing. So I believe the story that you're talking about and the story I'm about to tell both happened in the same part of town, which is considered to be the east side of town, and actually is not far from Nellis Air Force Base, which is one of the largest military bases in the country.
Yeah.
So anyways, the story I was told was we were actually at a graduation party just a couple weeks ago, and one of the ladies that was there, I won't give any names or anything, was telling me an interesting story about her husband, who is a police officer here, so from what I understand, and some of the details were kind of foggy. The story caught me off guard. We went from talking about graduation and the weather, and then all of a sudden she's like, boom, she tells me this story, and so it kind of caught me off guard. But from what I recall, is her husband is a police officer, and he got a call and responded to a call of somebody saying that in their backyard at night there was one, possibly two large, over 7 feet tall, with a massive head, and if I remember correctly, said large eyes in her backyard, just kind of walking around her backyard, just kind of standing there. Obviously, she was terrified. So he responds to this call, and within just a short amount of time, within minutes, there was another call coming in from another house that was in the same area, but was blocks away. It wasn't like across the street. It wasn't next door. It was not the house behind this house. This was blocks away. Call in and say the same thing, that they had large human-like figures in their backyard with giant heads. So her husband was responding to the second house.
Yeah.
So there was an officer that responded to the first call that came in and actually had footage on his body cam of this large humanoid in the backyard with, once again, a big, large head. They estimated, because of the way he was compared to the fence in the backyard, at least 7 feet tall. Could it be a human? Sure, it could be a human, but how do you explain the head? I mean, it's got a giant head. It just didn't look natural. And then, so he, of course, was trying to tell him, like, get down on the ground. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it just jumped over the fence, and was gone. So then this lady that was telling me this story, her husband responded to the second call, which, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 minutes. There was 3 minutes in between the first call being called in and the second call being called in. So not enough time for whatever it was, or maybe it was enough time. Who knows? If they can teleport or something like that, who knows? But
not within 3 minutes, dude. If you're blocks away, not within 3 minutes.
Yeah,
like
I tend to believe that this is two separate incidents,
not.
Two separate humanoids, and those descriptions fit Gray's. I don't think Gray's. I've never heard of a Gray being over 7 feet tall.
Okay, he calls it Gray. I'm calling it an alien.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest.
E.T. but much taller.
And you like you were saying, the bright light that you
so it seems to be a similarity. The thing that kills me and makes me curious is it hung out long enough for cops to actually show up.
Yeah.
So I mean, once again, you talk about the lack of trying to hide, the lack of, I don't really care if you see me or not.
Yeah, what are you doing in somebody's backyard, just kind of walking around? Like, what is it scoping out? I mean, so to finish that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. It just brought questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions, obviously, and we'll talk about it. But so this lady's husband responds to the second house, sees the same thing. The figure just kind of takes off. So he meets up with the officer that responded to the first call, and they're kind of discussing how they got the same exact call. They both kind of witnessed the same thing. Well, the first officer showed him the footage that he had on his body cam of what he encountered in the backyard of the first call. And obviously the second officer was like, that's exactly very, very almost identical to what I saw at the house that I responded to. So that, I think that's interesting. Like, this isn't, obviously these weren't two people that, I guess maybe they could have coordinated this. Everything can be faked, guys. Let's just be honest. Everything can be faked.
But you wonder what the conversation that happens even then, because you're like, how do you almost want to ask, like, as an officer, what would be your description of what you're looking for at that point? Like, how do you say, cool, now this is what we're looking for. We're looking for a tall figure. What is the other things you're saying? And like, how are you describing what you say you're looking for? Because I would have been curious to either, one, see a sketching, or two, hear that description.
Well, I always try to think of it in the sense of, what is there to benefit from it? You know what I mean? Like if somebody was hoaxing something like this, if somebody's hoaxing anything in general, what do you benefit from it? Like what is your goal?
Yeah.
In making something like that up.
But if it jumped the fence and disappeared, that's the other part. Like,
yeah, that's the thing is I don't remember if
you jump, and I guess it depends on whether they pursued or not. But like,
I'm sure they were probably freaked out. I mean,
and that's exactly that's what I'm saying. Like, there had to be a shock factor because one, they didn't sit there and say, okay, this is the suspect of who we're looking for. This is what he or she looks like. I'm sure that conversation was just like, what did you see? Because this is what I like. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're an officer and you show up at a house,
yeah,
and, Shaquille O'Neal is in somebody's backyard. Okay, he's 7 foot tall. Shaquille, what are you doing in this person's backyard? You know what I mean?
There's identifying features. Yeah,
right.
Exactly my point. Yeah.
But when you're an officer who's just okay, I'm gonna go check this out, and then you get there and you see this large figure with a giant head, and you're just like, okay, that's not Shaquille O'Neal. That's something else.
Yeah, I bit off more than I can chew.
You're a cop. You're not like you're not an alien hunter. Okay, this isn't a movie. Like, you respond to crackheads. You respond to people trying to break into somebody's car or a husband and a wife fighting. You're not expecting to roll up on somebody's house and then go in the backyard and find this giant humanoid figure that is able to just easily jump over the fence.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is I don't have the details on, did it climb over the fence? Did it jump over the fence? How did it get over the fence? I don't know. They were just saying that it basically just went over the wall and was gone.
But I think it's like you said, dude. I think there was probably shock value there.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure there was like a moment where they're just like, what did I see? So the fact it got away, they're probably just like, I don't want to catch up to it because I don't know what it's capable of.
Yeah. You're not going to pursue something that you don't know what it is.
Even as a cop, like, I mean,
you don't get paid enough.
As a person, I'm not going to pursue whatever that was.
Yeah.
Not.
I mean, it's just it's the same thing as when people encounter these Sasquatches, and we won't get too much into Sasquatch, but when these people encounter a Sasquatch in the woods, with the exception of one video that I saw that could easily be hoaxed, you don't just take off chasing the damn thing.
There ain't no way.
Most of the time, you're freaked out and you're just like, oh, crap.
Oh, yeah, it's going to leave you
What
frozen.
did I just see?
There's no way.
And then your mind starts trying to process it, and then you're just like, there's only one thing that could have been.
Yeah.
And once again, the size. Guys, if you've never, I'm an average size guy, you know what I mean? If you've ever stood next to somebody who's, okay, first of all, 7 feet tall.
It's huge.
I've worked with somebody who was 6'8", and I took a picture with him. Actually, I'll show the picture. No, I won't show the picture because I don't have his permission. But I looked like a little kid standing next to this guy. I'm right between 5'8" and 5'9".
Yeah.
This guy's 6'8", and I literally look like
I can vouch. He looks like a dwarf.
I look like a little kid standing next to this guy, and he's 6'8".
Like,
so
just shrunk.
Right. You take somebody who's 7 feet tall. Okay.
Dude, that's crazy. It is. Some accounts were saying almost 8 feet. Like, can you imagine an 8 foot tall?
You're not chasing something that's 8 foot tall
thing?
through the woods.
Because I'm gonna say thing. Like, thing is the only way I'm gonna. Because I mean, it's ET alien, but to be 8 feet tall, man.
Yeah. And what are you gonna do if you catch it? Like, what are you gonna do?
How are you gonna take it down? Like, what are you gonna how are you taking that down?
If I'm a cop, I'm calling and being like, hey,
I didn't sign up.
I saw something, but it's gone.
I didn't sign up for this.
Next call, please.
Like,
I
didn't sign up for this. Whatever. No. Nope. I don't know, man. The other part that gets me is, I don't know. I keep going back to it, but dude, they're just, if it's aliens, which, let's be honest, most likely if it's real, that's what we're dealing with. They're not afraid anymore, man.
Well, let's talk about NASA. Let's talk about how
Yeah.
NASA just announced that they're actually going to start researching.
Yep.
Basically, UFOs. I mean, there's really no other term for me to use. So you have Donald Trump, who was president, who created Space Force.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of people like to speculate that it's just for the satellites in space to protect the satellites for for all the cell phone companies and all the communication and stuff.
Dude, I'm not buying the whole, like,
But then
we haven't already researched it. And I'm not buying the whole NASA saying, like, we're going to research UFOs. Dude, stop playing.
Yeah, you're not going to waste that money on something that you don't think exists.
But the other thing to that is how are you going to sit here and tell me they haven't already done it? Or they haven't already started? Like, UFOs have been around for a minute. Mm-hmm. Like, this has been years and years and years and years of being around. It's not like this just came online. Did it come public and that it's more acknowledged now? Yes. But it's been around for a long time.
Right.
And whether or not that's been publicly talked about is different.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that happen way before and just comes to light years later. I'm not buying it, dude. I'm not buying it. And maybe it's NASA trying to make people feel better or give something interesting to talk about. I'm not buying that they have.
Well, yeah, and that's just like the point I was trying to make is you have Donald Trump creating Space Force, and then you have all of a sudden those videos that leaked that the government and we had an episode about it, guys. Yeah. One of our first episodes was about UFOs and how the government acknowledged that UFOs do exist, and what was the term? They impose
a threat to national security.
There you go. So, Space Force. The government acknowledging UFOs exist.
And I'll say it because I said it in that video too. If literally the government makes a statement saying they pose a threat to national security, that I can tell you that means that we don't have an answer if they decide to get hostile.
Yeah.
That we don't know how to combat whatever they're capable of.
And now these things are not even trying to hide anymore, guys. They're not even trying to hide anymore. And so once again, we're not trying to sell anything, guys. We're not...
They're ballsy.
We're not gonna, at the end of this episode, we're not going to be presenting like alien plush toys or anything or T-shirts that have aliens on them. We're not trying to sell anything.
Okay, he's not, but I am.
We might. No, but
if it sells,
we're literally talking about something that is in the news, but not. It's being talked about, but not being talked about. Once again, there's stupid, anything related to being controversial. Kind of takes the back seat to everyday celebrity shit. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine if news like this came out in the 70s? Like, hey, we're acknowledging aliens are real. Holy crap,
dude!
Man.
Life would stop.
Whoa, you would talk about people would start underground bunker type shit.
Yeah, for sure. And now people are just like, oh yeah, it's cool. They exist. We know that exists.
That is insane.
It was crazy because back to the conversation we were having at that party. When we started talking about that and she started telling me that story, a couple other people sitting at the same table started relaying stories that they've encountered. And the lady sitting next to me told me a story about how they were driving through from Northern California and blatantly her and her husband, a spaceship, there's no other term to use, was hovering over a field right beside the road, and she's driving, she sees it, it's a circular aircraft just hovering above a field. She wakes her husband up, honey, there's a spaceship right there. And he's like, I know, I've seen spaceships before. Like, it's a UFO. Go, don't slow down, speed up and pass it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just being like, oh my God, there's a spaceship. Oh my God, turn around. Like,
are we just numb to it now? That
was my point.
Like, yeah. No,
people are just.
It's
not even a big deal anymore.
But like, it should be. I feel like this should definitely be something where we're like, how are we not asking more questions? Cool, I get the government acknowledged, but how is there not further conversation into this?
How is there no concern?
No, that's what really killed. But you know what? We live such like self-centered, closed-in lives, though.
True.
Like everybody does it. You spend the majority of your day, on your phone. You don't typically. The only screens you look at is your TV and your phone, and you don't really go outside of that. And nobody asks questions like, "What do we do if this actually goes down?" But the worst part is it's just not being talked about. That's what hurts me.
I go back to, if you remember, we were talking about how Tucker Carlson, he was talking about it on his show. Yep. And I think he's no longer with Fox for whatever reason. But I know he started his own show or whatever. So I'd be curious to see if he goes back to that, because he was addressing UFOs. He was addressing what are they doing here? What are their plans? What are our plans if shit goes south? If these things do get hostile,
Do we even have a way of knowing what their plans are?
that's
Like,
the thing. And
do
is
we
if
even
they're
have
not
that
even
capability?
if they're not even trying to hide anymore,
Dude, they don't care. They don't care.
once again, at least it's conversations that should be having, and people should be concerned about it because these things are being spotted all over the world.
I just think people should want answers because, like, I'm gonna tell you right now,
especially
if it gets hostile,
if it's in my backyard, bro.
we done.
If I gotta call the cops because I got a damn alien in my backyard, I want to know why it's in my backyard.
Your 9mm or 30-06 is not slowing this down. Just so we're being clear.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
Because I'm pretty sure they have, like, probably some kind of gun where you just evaporate and you're gone.
Who freaking knows, man? Who freaking knows? But that's what we do on this channel. We talk about stuff that maybe people don't normally talk about. I like I said, I think it's interesting. I am very curious in the fact that why is there so much activity in Las Vegas all of a sudden?
Dude, it's a lot here.
Or
It has definitely been a lot.
Or has it just always been and it's just not being reported?
And you know what's, dude, and I hate to even give it credit because I love it and I hate it. So TikTok shows a lot, and the majority of those UFO videos that I've seen, and I'm sure anybody else that's watching this, like, you probably have other places where you've seen things, but this is like a hot spot, man. I feel, I don't know why. I don't know the reasoning.
You got Area 51 over there?
It is just a extreme hotspot for sightings, for,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, to not want answers is crazy, and the fact we don't have answers makes me nervous to a point, because it's like...
Bet you feel a lot safer in Arkansas now, huh?
Dude, I feel great.
Yeah.
Till E.T. gets in the trees, and then it's like, where's E.T.?
You're like, hey, Aaron, how was your weekend? I'm like, dude, I got a freaking anal probe this weekend. How's everything in Arkansas? You know what I mean? I didn't get an anal probe. I'm good.
That's a terrible party.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's crazy because a lot of the incidents are happening there, around Nellis Air Force Base,
Yeah.
which is weird to me. You would think that something like that, I mean, on both sides of the coin, you would think that the Air Force Base would be like, whoa, this is too close to us. What are these things doing so close to a military base?
But what's the rules of engagement at that point, though? Like, what's your deciding factor for what to do? It's not like you're dealing with people. You're not dealing with a human. You're not dealing with another country.
Yeah, Putin's not in your backyard.
You're dealing with an alien, and you're dealing with something that's not from this world.
Yeah.
It's one thing to not be from this country, but to not be from this world.
So you're talking about illegal aliens versus alien aliens.
Facts. Facts.
Okay, let's not get sidetracked.
I mean, we weren't going down a rabbit hole on that one. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's just a legit fact.
People in Texas are like, hey, I got like 500 aliens in my backyard. And they're like, dude, it's cool. Just throw them a couple sandwiches. They'll be on their way. We got aliens here that are 7 feet tall.
There's
what
different
I mean?
aliens.
Different aliens is what I'm saying, guys. That's my point.
A little bit afraid.
But yeah,
of
back
different
to
aliens.
rules of
Yeah.
engagement. Do we even want to engage them? I feel like it's one of those things where, dude, I don't just walk up and down the street.
But at what point do we draw the line in the sand? Like, at what point do we draw lines in the sand?
It's kind of like, I feel like at this point, it's like, okay, whoever starts it, then we'll have to make a decision at that time.
Dude, if they're doing things the way, give it time. If they're doing things the way they are now, to where they're not afraid to be seen, they're not afraid to just sit there and stare at you as you stare at them, give it time for the one dumb person does something stupid and either, I don't know, I'm not saying shoots at it, but, tries to inflict harm or tries to, be hostile, then what?
God help that person.
Then what? So not only the person, because who knows
All
how
of us.
aliens would and I know this seems very sci-fi and very whatever, but that's where we're at. Like, this is where we're at. Like, at that point, who's to say that your actions of hostility towards that one doesn't create a world war against aliens? Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, right? Like, I'm hearing myself say it, and it's just like, That sounds stupid. It sounds like a nerd shit stuff to say, but
No,
like,
but it's
that's real. Like that's
it
a
is
real
real
that's a
talk.
real conversation where it's like,
do you want to be
whoa.
responsible
Yeah.
for essentially
Because
causing
you're
a
the
world
one
war?
person that got a little hostile with ET, and then now we're going to war, and it's not a fight we're gonna win. We're not going to win that.
That's
fight.
why I'm like, those cops, absolutely. You walk away. You walk away, ma'am. I'm sorry that you got this thing in your backyard, but there ain't shit I can do. Okay, you know what I mean?
Don't call me next time. The Men in Black. Here you go.
I'm just gonna get back in my patrol car and I'm gonna drive back
Dude.
to my station. I'll make a report, and that's it. Like,
But like, the FBI is not going to handle that. Like, any of your agencies, even Department of Homeland Security is going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do?
If they wanted to get involved, they probably would have by now, right?
Dude, I don't know.
So they're like, well, we can't. Okay, so you go back to those videos, and it's like I think they got to a point where they were like, we can't keep denying this. Like, these videos leaked from military personnel.
Yeah,
you know?
it's too public, dude.
It was Navy, right? The Navy was the one that released that.
Navy has
A Navy general. It wasn't just some dude on a boat. Like, it was a general, I believe, that released that. And see, that's the other thing that I think is really, really intriguing, guys. There's going to be a lot of these. I know you're military, so I know you probably can't get too involved in this part of the conversation. But in my opinion, you have all these people that have sworn to keep things confidential, right? Because they're sworn. You know, there's just things that they can't say, right? But you know, a lot of these guys that were alive and in the military in the 70s and 80s, when, you know, and 50s and 60s and all, like Roswell and all that stuff, these guys are, you know, basically on their deathbeds. Like, they're coming towards the end of their lives. They're retired, you know, and I'm sure a lot of the interviews that I've seen, they're saying that, you know, the public deserves to know.
Dude, it's been 50-something
like,
years, so I mean,
how are you going to punish
right.
somebody who's already, you know, possibly, you know, they're laying in their deathbed?
Oh,
with
absolutely.
Cancer.
Like, dude,
they're just like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to tell people what I know, what I saw, what I've encountered. And that's what I think is really, really intriguing to me, is what stories have already come out. Do your research, like, just Google it, and you'll see tons and tons of stories that people are coming forward with and saying, look, this happened back in 1974.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. This.
Yep.
You know, because these people are just, once again, like, what's the military going to do? They're going to throw me in prison. I'm 90 years old. You know what I mean? I think people deserve to know. And I think that's the thing that intrigues me the most.
People, I agree. People deserve to know, but there's a certain amount of information that people need. I won't say deserve to know, but need to know.
I agree.
And there's a good reason the military only discloses certain things, because the general public has proven, it's just the way it is, like, not everybody reacts to information the same. Not everybody takes everything they hear the same. And some people can process things better than others. So telling you everything doesn't do you any good, because then it creates panic within certain things. But then it also makes you, I don't know. It's just like any other issue. So take any other. So yeah, like, everybody has information and they handle information differently. But everybody's perception of how. So you take world issues, take, you know, any political thing where people can have a different opinion and how they perceive that and how they believe it should be handled. Same thing with information that the military has or that the government has. So where I agree certain things should be disclosed, there's very good justification for not. Just because then people form opinions, then they start, you know, protests, riots, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, does everybody have somewhere safe? And, you know, overall, or across the world, we were probably one of the safest countries. Crime is still a thing that's everywhere, but I would still argue that, you know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ask you a question, because you are, you know, you were in the military. You guys know that he's in the Air Force. As a citizen, as a civilian,
Mm-hmm.
who's also on the military side,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how would you feel? How would you feel about? I mean, once again, we've got freaking UFOs flying all over this country. Like, just not to get too personal, but I mean, it's at how much of concern.
Oh, dude. So we don't understand the full extent of their technology. Like
I don't think that's any
I
kind
don't
of secret.
I don't think we have that answer.
Yeah.
We don't have capabilities to even combat probably some of the things they're capable of. So from a military standpoint, like, we're very much a nation where we plan things before we get to that point of having to deal with it. From a military standpoint. Politics I can't speak to. But
Yeah. So on a scale of from 1 to 10, and obviously 10 being the most severe, what would you say? Like, just as you as a person, just as me and you are talking right now, how concerned are you of all this UFO activity that's what's going on?
dude, it's a strong 8.
Strong 8.
It's a strong 8.
I
It's
think that
simply
speaks for itself.
because that, like, they're not scared. They don't care. They're literally, to me, that's a statement saying, like, cool, I know you see me, but I'm not going to run from you because
I don't need to.
I don't have to.
Right, and I don't need to hide from you
Nope.
because I don't
Nope.
need to.
And I think that's a sign of literally making a statement of, I don't fear you.
Once again, I feel like that speaks for itself, guys. It's like coming from somebody who's in the military who, he knows these things. He knows a lot more than I do. I'll say that. You know what I mean? As somebody who's in the military compared to somebody who's just a citizen going by whatever they can find online, whatever articles I can come across. You know what I mean?
That's
And like you said earlier, dude, I think we're at this point now in society where we're just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna not acknowledge it, and I'll hope that it goes away until I have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, is it too late?
Yeah, until it's in your face. It's not your problem until it's smacking you in the face.
Until it's your problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I mean, I could go on and on. Like, you look at Russia, China.
Yeah.
Pick your poison of what you want to talk around the world of issues, and nobody typically doesn't have an opinion, or they don't care because it's not affecting your day-to-day life.
Right.
It doesn't smack you in the face every day.
And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we've come to that in a society where shit that's not important is important, and shit that's important is not important. And
It's weird.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I always look at my kids and I'm just like, I can't imagine the things that they're gonna have to deal with on a daily basis 20 years from now.
Oh, dude,
You
absolutely.
look at what's transpired in the last 20 years of our lives.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Nuts.
it's insane. Everybody's so obsessed with titles and making sure they don't offend somebody and trying to be woke and trying to be politically correct and tiptoeing around at their jobs because they're afraid they're going to say something or do something that's going to offend somebody and they're going to lose their job.
Yep.
And we have freaking aliens flying around walking around in people's backyards and
it's
God
not
knows
even.
what
It's
else.
not. It's not even like. It would be different if we were just saying this as people who. So the Bigfoot thing, right? Cool. Like, we talk about how we believe in Bigfoot. That's not what. But aliens have been confirmed by your U.S. government that they're real.
And we're not anticipating 5,000 Sasquatches to come running out of the woods in Canada and
That would
just
really
come
suck.
in and start
That would
invading
really-
the U.S.
Bro, let's be honest. That is literally just as scary, if not scarier, than the UFO shit.
Give it a year or two, they'll have a movie about that.
That is absolutely terrible. That's equally as terrifying, to be honest with you, as the alien thing. Like, both. Dude, no.
Chewbacca wasn't that big of a threat in Star
Homie,
Wars.
dude, your house is not even going to protect you from their shit, bro.
My house ain't going to protect me from a UFO either, probably.
I mean, at least,
Just
they'll
saying.
just laser beam your ass out. Like, they're not going to freaking come in through your wall.
I don't know, dude.
Can you imagine Sasquatch kicking the door off your house, man? Come on.
It would both suck.
Yeah, I'm not saying either one would suck less. I'm just saying I feel like Sasquatch would be a little more, like, brutal.
It just depends on what they're going to do to you when they get a hold of you.
Dude, you ever watch Cocaine Bear? I know this is off topic. Did you ever watch Cocaine Bear?
I have not seen it yet, but dude, as soon as I have some free time, I'm watching that movie.
Because, like, can you think about, like, cocaine Sasquatch?
You might be onto something.
I was
Cocaine
thinking,
Squatch.
I was thinking about this as I start. I haven't finished it yet, so I'm not spoiler alert or anything. But I started it, and I'm like, can you imagine if Sasquatch got a hold of cocaine, especially a whole brick of cocaine?
And you know what's crazy is that cocaine bear was based on a true story.
I know it swallowed
Guys,
a
that
whole
happened.
brick. It swallowed the whole brick.
That really
it
happened.
ate the whole thing.
How awesome was that? Was probably the best day of that bear's life. Let's just be honest,
Dude, he went on a rampage.
Dude. Man.
Anyway, that is not where that was meant to go. Sorry, just shiny moment. Anyway, guys,
don't apologize for anything on this channel, sir.
You're right. You're right. I'm. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry,
okay?
not sorry.
We say all that not to cause fear, not to cause, sleep with one eye open type things. It's more just like things, food for thought. There you go. Food for thought.
Yeah.
Things to think about. Things to be like, okay, do your own research, figure things out for yourself, look things up for yourself. Just, Aaron and myself, I spend a lot of time doing that. Even when I'm not, here back in Arkansas, I am constantly looking at different stories,
Yeah, me too.
YouTube videos, articles. I'm all the
Yeah.
time diving into this stuff to what I can find because I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Me too.
And the UFO thing's a real threat, whether or not we realize that or not. And one day it's going to smack us in the face. Hopefully not anytime soon.
That's what I was just about to say. It's one of those things that you might not be interested in, but it's conversations that you should at least be having because, once again, if these things decide to do anything, to instead of just being standing in somebody's backyard and start doing stuff,
Yeah.
it might be too late at that point. You know what I mean?
Dude, it might be too late now.
And you have all the Christians that are talking about this is the end of the world. These are all things that are supposed to happen.
And maybe they're not wrong. Maybe they're not wrong.
Maybe they're not.
Maybe it's not wrong. I'm not saying, but I don't know. I don't have the answers.
Well,
I
if they're not wrong, we have bigger problems, right?
yeah, we
have
do.
bigger problems,
We
but-
really do. Really do.
Conversation for next time.
See, food for thought, guys. That's really all it is. It's really just something like when you watch this, I'm hoping it's something you can go back and just.
Yeah.
It's interesting points that we bring up to where you can think on it, comment, let us know what you think or things you've read, and then just your perspective because that's what we like. We like conversation. We like open
Right.
dialogue.
And it's
Love it.
definitely more interesting than talking about the weather for an hour.
Good God.
It's like, hey, how was the weather where you live? It's freaking hot, miserable, and it's hot.
I
and
mean,
it
I get
sucks ass.
tornadoes. We could talk about tornadoes if you want.
Yeah. Or we can talk about UFOs. I mean,
Tornadoes are pretty damn destructive. I don't know, man.
so are UFOs. Or they can be, maybe.
Dude, we don't know.
Maybe UFOs create tornadoes.
Maybe Sasquatch creates tornadoes.
Maybe sharks cause tornadoes.
Sharknado!
All right, guys. So, yeah, this is kind of a wonky episode.
Stop saying sorry. You told me I can't say sorry,
Yeah,
so
you're
therefore
right.
you
we're not
cannot
sorry
say
that this was a
not
wonky
sorry.
episode.
Not sorry.
But like I said, this is our reunion.
Yeah.
Reunion episode, dude. It's
Good
glad
to be
have
back.
you back.
It's good to be here, man.
Wish we had more time.
Dude, I
But
could have
you just had another baby. You just had another baby, so now he's got 2 little girls. God help you.
Oh, somebody has to.
But yeah, I missed this.
Yeah, dude.
If you guys saw one of our videos did actually go viral. It hit the algorithm, and we got like over 3,000 views on the Hills Have Eyes episode. And I started, trying to do some research on what does that mean? Like, how did one of
Can
our
we
videos
pay
go viral?
to have the algorithm just take all of our stuff and just throw it into the universe?
Well, and just like I said, we're just not able to put out content the way we can. We started this channel during COVID, as you guys know.
Yeah.
We definitely had big plans for it, and then life just happened. Life just happens.
I don't think our plans have changed. Let me
No.
elaborate on what Aaron is saying because I don't think the game and the overall goal of this channel has changed. I think things are slow now because
to adapt.
obviously we've had to adapt to changes that have happened. But the overall purpose and the things we enjoy with this channel has not changed.
What Chase is trying to say is we are going to continue to try to bring you guys some
It's
content.
just going to be slow, guys. It's going to
Yeah.
be not as often as we were doing because living here, it was easy every weekend. Aaron and I, every single weekend would be filming. We would do 3 to 4 episodes every weekend and then have it put out that week.
And our editing sucked at the beginning. We know that.
Bro, we still kind of.
But we came a long
great.
way.
We're not great. It's good, but it's not
We've
great.
come a long way. We've
have.
figured a lot
We
of
have.
stuff out. I mean, you literally take 2 guys, that were sitting around one day and being like, Bro,
It's because we always had crazy ass
we
conversations.
we should start a YouTube channel, a
Yeah.
podcast or whatever
Yeah.
about the crazy shit that we talk about on a daily basis. And, you know, we just kind of got a camera and we sat down and we started videotaping, as you guys remember in the first episode with the fourth kind. And you could tell we were uncomfortable and we
Guys,
didn't really
that
know
was
what
at
we
a
were doing.
table, a little small fold-up freaking
folding
table, and stupid cup of coffee. I'm like, all right, let's talk, bro.
In your baby's room, like we had to
Hey,
push toys
you know
out of the
what?
way. But then you look, and then a few episodes later, my wife is like, "Babe, if you guys are gonna do this, do it right." Boom, we got our Rodecaster. You know, we got microphones, we got headphones. We're legit now. You know, at this point,
A little more legit.
I feel like we're pretty legit.
We got shirts.
Yeah, we got shirts, guys. We got shirts.
Got freaking shirts.
You know, you've made it when you got shirts, and we have coffee mugs too.
We have Twitter.
We do have Twitter.
I don't know if that matters.
Does Donald Trump have Twitter still? Or?
I think they gave it back to him because
We have Twitter, guys.
I have actually.
We have t-shirts
You know
and
what?
Twitter.
I have 2 Twitters, not one for my personal, but one is because I couldn't log into.
Oh, we're flexing now.
Yeah, I'm not flexing. I'm telling you, if you're watching and this makes the algorithm, follow both of those because it's for Nightmare Talks. You have yours still, but you don't log in. Yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus now. You call me out. I'm calling you out, dude. I looked at your post. You don't log in. You don't do.
Same team.
You post something.
I know, bro. I just.
Dude, create a poll. It's so easy to do. Anyway,
I did,
we're not gonna
and
have
one
this
person responded. Hey, let's vote on this, and I had one vote, and it was like, oh, I guess that side wins. It's just like 1-0.
100%.
It's like a soccer game, like 1-0. Super. But no, guys, we promise we're doing our best to bring you to bring you guys more content. Chase, you're just gonna have to move back to Vegas, and we're gonna have to go out and look for these aliens together.
Dude, I would love that. You don't even know so I may have to take leave just to be out here for like a month. But we'd have to plan like a month of doing shit.
Let's join the police force.
Nope.
For a week.
Absolutely not. I don't know what you're...
Start responding to some of these calls.
You know what, Aaron? This is good.
Just keep the money. We don't even need the money. We just need the content, guys.
False. Well, let's get all the bad ideas out now. You're doing great. Let's get these out now. That way we don't have to do what you're saying right now because that's awful.
I'm just creating options is all.
No. We could just do this full time and get paid for it. That'd
or
be
we
better.
can just go on Twitter and post some stuff.
Twitter is how you get your name out.
You're not wrong.
I'm telling you, Twitter is what moves the world right now. It's not
And
Facebook
t-shirts.
and it's not Instagram.
And
It
t-shirts.
is Twitter. If you're not hashtag Nightmare Talks, it's not real.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so guys, that was a tangent between me and Aaron. Not so much.
Long overdue.
Yeah, dude, we don't talk much.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you for staying loyal to us. Thank you for your patience. We will do our best. We are doing our best.
Absolutely.
So hang in there, guys.
Yep. Like, follow, subscribe, show some love. Talk to us. We
Share.
like talking.
Yeah.
Probably more than we should.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I noticed you yawned a couple times. I'm looking at the watch. It's 1:30 in the morning here in Vegas, which is 3:30 in the morning in Arkansas time, which you guys are still on. So
Guys, I do it for you.
That's how dedicated we are to you.
I do it for you guys. I do it for you guys. I do it because I actually love this channel and I love doing this. Because if I didn't, I'd be at the other house sleeping, to be completely honest right now.
Yeah.
But no.
So you got that going for us.
Yippee.
Once again, guys, I'm Aaron.
I'm Chase.
And once again, thank you guys. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Bye.
It was the streak seen across the sky, now seen around the world. This, as our 8 News Now investigators confirm Metro actually set up cameras at this home where a family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the legitimacy of an alleged UFO crash. Good evening, I'm Janice Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Our 8 News Now investigators reporting about terrified members of a local family who told police they had aliens in their backyard. Chief Investigator George Knapp here to piece it all together.
You know, as with all things UFO, the public debate is ferocious and ongoing. Was it all a hoax? Were we duped? Was it all an evil plot, a cover-up, all of the above? We took another look at the hubbub to separate wheat from chaff. The fireball captured on a police body cam on the night of April 30th was real. The American Meteor Society says witnesses reported seeing it all across the West, from northeastern Utah to Southern California. Another Las Vegas resident sent us a video of the same object recorded on her home camera.
Investigation by Nexstar station KLAS.
As the story of the Las Vegas incident spread across newscasts and social media, one of NASA's planetary defense officers weighed in to say it was likely a small meteor that fell to Earth hundreds of miles away from Las Vegas. Police videos obtained by 8 News Now indicate Metro officers were among the witnesses.
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
The appearance of the meteor seemingly triggered the events that followed. A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard to look for intruders. One thing noticed by the officers was a circle in the soil. In conversations with us and in a podcast interview, Angel, the main witness, suggested the circle might have been created when an unknown object landed in the yard. Social media sleuths have since pointed out that the circular image has been viewable via Google Earth for more than a year. The family told us by phone they had seen suspicious vehicles with men in black types checking out their home. Turns out there is substance to that. A retired police officer fessed up on News Nation that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera atop the house, presumably to watch for intruders, human or otherwise, or overzealous media? Turns out that's true as well. Metro confirmed as much in a statement to 8 News Now's David Charnes. The system stayed on the roof for days. What about the Ring camera video with the weird noise? The main witness, Angel, intimated to us the video was recorded by one of his neighbors, and the audio was from the April 30th UFO crash. It wasn't. The security camera video was recorded in mid-April, according to the man who first posted the clip. He doesn't want his name used, but says the recording was from a fireball that passed over his home in the southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter. The family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grush, who stepped forward around the same time. Grush unveiled his explosive on-camera account on News Nation, which is owned by the parent company of KLAS. In spite of the local news story, Grush's story was reported by news media all over the world. Curses foiled again.
All right. So, what do you make of this whistleblower, David Grush?
He first reached out to me about a year ago. We've been in contact ever since. He's the real deal. I mean, he had a distinguished career in the Air Force. Then he went to work for a 3-letter agency you probably haven't heard of, the NGA, which basically tracks everything in space, in the air, in the ocean, under the ocean, on land. They keep track of everything. He has the highest security clearances in our government, and in that capacity, he interacted with something like 2,000 SAP, special access programs, and he learned along the way that we're reverse engineering crash flying saucers, and he's been telling that to Congress under oath behind closed doors, and I think they'll probably bring him back. So it's a pretty intriguing story. A lot like what we've been hearing about out in the Nevada desert for a long time.
Right. Of all the stories you've done over decades and decades, this one has really gone worldwide.
The backyard alien?
Yes.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how much email we get, you know. We're not done with it. We'll see where it goes.
This is not the last of that story.
No.
All right, George, thanks for that. Now.